Hyderabad saw the best minds in human resources culminate under one roof for the 16th National HR Conference 2012 on Energizing for Excellence. Excellence, which is the prerequisite of a rapidly changing social, economic and business environment of the country. Organized by the National HRD Network, an association of professionals which is committed to promoting the HRD movement in the country and enhancing the capability of human resource professionals in order to enable them to make an impactful contribution to enhancing competitiveness and creating value for society. Day 1 commenced with delegates treated to enlightening workshops with industry leaders, researchers, global consultants, policymakers and social transformers who shared their thoughts, feelings and experience to inspire excellence.
This year specifically, when we looked at this theme of energizing for excellence, this perhaps the basic concept is starting from the country level itself and then coming down to the individual level. So we look at energizing for excellence for the nation, for the larger community, the society, then the company, the organization, the corporate perspective, teams and then the individual.
And we thought, looking at the present scenario in the industry and what is happening to the Indian economy, a theme which is very apt and interesting and exciting to evoke the people, to break the nest in their mind, we thought that energizing excellence is a topic which is going to be useful. They'll go have a good viewpoints, feelings, ideas with the industry experiences, go back and practice it.
The workshops were followed by the main sessions, commencing with a solemn inauguration at the hands of Sri Arun Maira, Member Planning Commission and other dignitaries from the NHRD network.
With 50 years of experience and as a planning commission member, a person who brings to the job a new perspective, a perspective where he would like to transform the nation, I would request Sri Arun Maira to come and talk to us on a very important topic. Sri Arun Maira.
So I'm so grateful to the National Human Resource Development Network for inviting me to speak at this national, very well-attended HR conference, and I congratulate you for this, inviting me to speak on energizing a nation for excellence. And the quest for excellence has been a drive throughout my professional life. I always keep with me a simple plumb bob as a talisman of excellence. A plumb bob, as some of you would recall, is a mason's tool. So let me tell you the story of my plumb bob. And I was general manager and then resident director of the Telco's factories in Pune during the 1970s and 1980s, when a team of Indian managers, engineers and workers under the leadership of the company's chairman, Sumant Mulgaonkar, so he set us off, all of us, to prove to the world and to ourselves what an organization of committed Indians could accomplish. We designed and made within our factory the country's first fully automated transfer machine for manufacturing cylinder heads for engines. It was an engineering marvel. I invited Mr. Mulgaonkar, our chairman, who was then 70 years old, to see the machine when it was installed. I drove him in a jeep alongside the long machine. The workers and engineers who had built the machine were standing proudly beside it. We had gone only halfway when Mr. Mulgaonkar, who was a heart patient, complained that he was not feeling well and asked me to return to the office. He asked for a glass of water and requested that he be left alone for a few minutes. Meanwhile, I sent for the doctor. When the doctor arrived, Mr. Mulgaonkar was looking quite well. He said he did not need the doctor, he wanted to see me alone. Mr. Mulgaonkar said to me, "Maira, did you notice the hydraulic pipes? All are not vertical. Please go back and see for yourself." So I drove back, and along with the engineers and workmen, I looked at the pipes, the hundreds of meters of them. Indeed, some of them were not quite vertical. These were slightly out of line. I returned and reported what I had now noticed to Mr. Mulgaonkar. He said, "Maira, trifles make for perfection, and perfection is no trifle. you will strip the machine and build it again with everything perfect this time. And please give to every manager in the company, including yourself, a plumb bob to keep on their tables. And on this plumb bob inscribe, trifles make for perfection, and perfection is no trifle. The pursuit of excellence begins with a vision of what is missing in current reality, what we would like to see. And to realize the vision of excellence, there must be another vision, a vision of a new way, a new process to achieve the vision. Because if we keep going on in the way we are, we will keep reinforcing our current reality and get more of what we already have rather than what we aspire for. The sputtering of India's economic growth rate has rung alarm bells for economists and rating agencies. India must attract more private investments in infrastructure and industry. Though attracted by the potential of India's market, investors are turned off by the difficulties of getting things done in the country. A major problem in India is that things are not done well. In a highly diverse as well as democratic country such as India, consensus is required for all stakeholders to move together, forward and faster. This consensus cannot be commanded. We need another mechanism specifically designed to bring people with different perspectives together, to listen to each other, to distill the essence of their shared aspiration for their habitation or their organization, and adopt the critical principles they will adhere to in the work they must do together. A model of a process for rapidly improving a nation's capabilities to get things done systematically is available in the Total Quality Movement, that's TQM, in Japan. In less than 2 decades, Japan, which had a reputation for poor quality, low-cost products, became the international benchmark of quality in many industries and several of its public services too. Within India's 12th plan, which is on the anvil, is the description of a similar transformative process to improve capabilities in the country to get things done. This process, described as the India Backbone Implementation Network, or IBIN for short, can improve results in many sectors of the economy. The architecture of the India Backbone Implementation Network is along similar lines as the TQM movement of Japan. You've got to get out as an HRD network to assist with building quality in health, education, sanitation, urban management. You, the HRD network, have to be a node, a central agent in the creation of the India Backbone Implementation Network. Your tools, your skills in enabling people to listen to each other, to work together, and produce excellence together are the key. This is a time to lead and to act. And let me offer you a personal vision. In this vision, democracy will become deep and will become inclusive. People want their governments to be for the people too. Indians are protesting that their governments are not accountable to the people. Therefore, governance reforms to make governments accountable to citizens have become imperative. Deep democracy is government by the people. India must become an inclusive economy. I humbly submit that genuine inclusion is not achieved by handouts and by redistribution. In fact, handing out and charity reinforce the idea of exclusion. Some are in and others are out, and it is the moral responsibility of the ins to give to those who are out. For inclusion, we need innovations to provide affordable and accessible goods and services. In my vision of India, India, which is a country of over 1 billion Democrats, will also be a country of hundreds of millions of entrepreneurs. Indeed, this was Mahatma Gandhi's vision. His charkha was a symbol. In his vision for India, all people would be producers of goods and services that the community and the market need. They would be earners and also owners of their enterprises, even if tiny. And finally, in my vision, India will also be what Gurudev Tagore envisioned, a country not divided into fragments by narrow domestic walls. Let us be less argumentative and more cooperative. HR management systems with an excessive emphasis on job specifications, company-determined targets, and financial incentives killed the human spirit and made human beings into donkeys. IBIN will stimulate a movement of fireflies arising. Such fireflies are individuals and teams around the country who take charge and with their energies begin to turn darkness into and bloom into light. The members of the National HRD network have a crucial role to play in accelerating this empowered movement for change. We need 1 million leaders. My definition of a leader is she or he who takes the first steps towards what she or he deeply cares about and in ways that others wish to follow. And take a quiet moment and reflect. Having lit the spark within, you then must ask, what will I do about it? Ladies and gentlemen, you can, and we together can, energize our nation to excellence.
My question is on the Millennium Development Goals and what is the Planning Commission's activities aligned to it?
There seems to be a little bit of a disconnect between what the Planning Commission seems to advise and what the Government of India tends to do, and probably there are political compulsions for that. The last one, and the latest one that we are seeing being, quotas for promotions in government jobs. How do you actually reconcile these kind of compulsions when you're making your recommendations to the government?
Let me answer these questions by telling you why things are not happening in the country, why plans that are made are not producing the results in the country. So the amount of energy we are spending, A, on blaming people for not having done something, and B, on trying to set even higher goals, I think we should use that energy in figuring out how we can make things happen together in areas that we know, whether it's power or health or education, whatever yours might be. But between the center and the states, for example, it is said, well, the center can decide, but the states are sovereign governments, elected governments, and they have the right to choose the plans for the people that elected them. And it must be so. It's not for the center to tell every state what to do. It's not for every state to tell every city mayor what to do, but they are, or every panchayat what to do. So we've got to start walking our talk also. And from the Planning Commission to say, we can help you in the state to make a better plan for what you need. And what we can help you with is a process by which you can engage your constituents so that you get a plan which will be implemented by the people in your state itself. So that's the basic thrust that we have to go.
Excellence is not by accident. It's a process where an individual, organization, or the nation continuously strives to better oneself.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the HR Fraternity of India and on behalf of National HRD Network, we welcome Dr. C. Abdul Kalam.
I am indeed delighted to attend the annual national conference of National HRD Network at Hyderabad. India is ranked 134 in HDI among 187 countries. How can we improve the HDI ranking at least top 20 countries? Is it possible? Of course, to reach the higher performance in ranking of HDI, we need innovation. We need excellence. And above all, we need creative leadership in human resource development. Hence, friends, I would like to share a few thoughts on